The DataGravity for Virtualization product suite can help Veeam customers to not only protect their data from disaster, but also help define compliance and governance policies to automatically discover sensitive data and search through it, detect anomalous user access behaviors such as ransomware, and define their data against careless exposure, data loss, malicious users, and regulatory non-compliance. DataGravity is distributed as an OVA and easily deployed as a virtual appliance running on top of VMware ESXi version 5.5 or newer. The product is configured, managed, and operated using an HTML5-based graphical user interface. There are three main focus areas which categorize different tasks that you can perform. The Discover area enables you to discover information about your data. This area includes options for searching content, using rich visualizations to obtain data insights and understand data trends, track user activity for all your users inside VMs, and take actions when sensitive data is found or anomalous user activity is detected. The Inventory area enables you to manage virtualization managers and storage and backup providers, such as Veeam repositories, VMware data stores, and iSCSI volumes, also referred to as mount points. The System area enables you to manage system settings, manage roles and user access control, including Active Directory users and groups, and finally, configure notification policies for system events. DataGravity gives organizations the ability to create search definitions or tags to define what is sensitive to them. DataGravity comes with a whole host of predefined sensitive data tags, but every organization is different. Tags are used to identify content and patterns within files such as company-specific intellectual property or sensitive customer data and compliance regulations like HIPAA and PCI DSS. Creating a tag to find protected health information such as the patient ID is done in two simple steps. Begin by entering the name of the tag and any descriptive text you desire. Next, enter the regular expression that defines the tag search criteria, then click Apply. Once created, you add tags to Insight profiles, which are assigned to VMs. Insight profiles enable you to gather full intelligence inside VMs in a Veeam repository, VMware data store, or an iSCSI line, and flag file content using the custom or predefined system tags. An Insight policy is a collection of triggers and actions that are run against all VMs or a subset of VMs that have been brought into the DataGravity inventory. These policies loosely describe company-defined security policies and regulations that a company must abide by. For instance, if we wanted to create an Insight policy for maintaining HIPAA compliance, you would start by selecting the policy type. We'll use a content policy because we want to discover specific personal health information or PHI inside a VM. Next, give it a name and a description if desired. Enter the criteria to detect inside the VM. Next, we have the option to look across all VMs or a select few. Lastly, we need to add some action to take when this content is found. We'll send an email to the HIPAA violations distribution group to let them know PHI was detected. We'll also tag the VM so that it is easily identified as containing PHI and shouldn't be vMotioned to the public cloud. Lastly, we'll send a system alert that will be sent to a syslog server or SIM tool. Now that we have our intelligence tags, Insight profiles, and Insight policies defined, we can start adding VMs to the DataGravity inventory. But before we can do that, we need to add a storage or backup provider. Start from the Home tab, click Inventory, and select Storage Provider. Enter the DNS name or IP address of the Veeam backup server and the proper credentials for connecting to it. Click on the Add to Inventory button to add the Veeam server to the DataGravity inventory. After clicking the Add to Inventory button, DataGravity communicates with the Veeam backup server to discover all of the VMs that have been added to backup jobs. Next, you select which VMs you would like to have analyzed by the DataGravity Discovery Engine. At this step, this is where you would select the HIPAA Insight policy that we created earlier. For now, I'm going to stick with the default policy. You have the option of selecting a time range to start analyzing Veeam restore points. For instance, if you have been backing up a VM for quite some time, you can choose how far back in time you want to begin analyzing. The default is to start analyzing the most recent restore point and to continue from that point forward. Other options are to analyze all restore points and continue from that point forward, or you can create a custom schedule. The final step of the workflow is to install the DataGravity discovery tools. The tools are used to enhance intelligence gathering for information such as user activity and user auditing, a full catalog of all files on NTFS file systems, as well as being able to report all changes made to these files. For example, when they were created, modified, or deleted. However, this is only possible if there is a running VM in Virtual Center that is the parent of the files being backed up. If this is not possible in your environment, you may skip this step. After you have added all of your VMs to inventory, you can begin to peer into your VMs using the DataGravity search and discovery tools. Let's begin with the Insights dashboard. From the Home tab, click Discover and select Insights. From this dashboard, you can see all of the VMs that have been added to inventory. On the left side of the screen, you can see the list of the top users by space consumed, the most active users, and the amount of dormant data across all of the VMs. By hovering over the VMs, the left three tiles dynamically update to show information specific to each of them. By clicking a virtual machine, you can get information about the types of files and additional file metadata. An important feature for data retention policies is understanding how much of your data is outside its allotted lifespan. By leveraging dormant data analysis, we can click into any of these bars to see all of the data that hasn't been accessed or touched in a certain amount of time. For example, this is all the information that hasn't been touched in more than a year. With filtering, we can discover what kind of files they are, whether they contain any sensitive information, and even if they are owned by people who no longer work here. This information can be exported for remediation and reporting, giving you the ability to defensively delete files that are no longer required. DataGravity provides data demographics about the files that reside inside the VM. We see the makeup of how many files of different types exist, as well as identifying where large files are hiding. This can help you comply with acceptable use policies and answer questions like, do you know how much of your space is being consumed by music or videos? Any one of these can be clicked on to get a list of the files that match this criterion. File categories over time can help you understand how your data is growing and if there are any anomalies. Maybe someone uploaded or deleted a large number of files during the week. This can be seen here. By leveraging the advanced search tools built into DataGravity, you can find sensitive data across all VMs or any single VM. Using the search builder, you can search for content within VMs along a specific file path, tags, users, as well as when a file was created or last modified. For example, let's make sure there aren't any files with the word password in the file name. Here we see a file name that includes usernames and passwords. For every file in the results list, you can see where the file is located, who owns it, and when it was last modified. It is also possible to download a file directly to your local computer or restore a file into a running or powered off VM. DataGravity can also track user activity across files and folders in a running VM. Let's say a user was working one day and accidentally launched ransomware. With DataGravity, it's possible to detect this activity. We can do this by creating a Suspicious Activity Insight policy. Open Insight Management from the Discover area, add an Insight policy, select Suspicious Activity Policy Type, give it a name and a description if you desire, click Continue at this step. Identify if you want to detect ransomware on all VMs or a select few, then start adding the actions you want to take when ransomware is found. Let's look at a policy that has already been created. This policy will send an email to the IT group, create a system message that is forwarded to a syslog server or SIM tool, create a discovery point, disable the user account in Active Directory, and just for good measure, send a message to a Slack channel. As we look at the VM view, we will see that a discovery point has been created as a result of ransomware. By opening the discovery point, we now have the ability to search through the discovery point, or we can view the DP catalog of all the changed and deleted files in a DP. Clicking below the type column, we can sort the results to show only the deleted files. In the Discovery Point Search tab, we can search for any file that has been deleted or changed. Using the Deleters facet, we can see who has been deleting files. By selecting the user, we see all of the deleted files that have been deleted by ransomware. Then we can select all of them and restore them back to the VM after it has been cleaned of the ransomware. It is also possible to see the real-time activities that triggered all of the actions in the inside policy. This is a feature that is driven by our file system driver and is always running inside the powered-on VM. Open the activity tracking view and then select the name of the user, select Delete, and click Find. Now we can see all of the files that have been deleted by the ransomware. In this demo, you have seen how DataGravity helps users define their sensitive data, detect it from leaking into areas it doesn't belong, and detect anomalous behaviors in near real time by integrating Veeam backup capabilities using our action framework. These capabilities arm users with the ability to defend themselves against sensitive data leakage and anomalous behaviors against their data.